stay fly, stay fly.
I couldn't just be good on the football field. I had to be great in the classroom as well. And also, just keep it real, I'm a black quarterback. And I understood that at the end of the day, they're going to look at me differently than they look at my counterparts. They're going to look at me and say, oh, well, he can't process, he can't think, he can't be smart. That's incorrect. I can, and I was, and I have been. So going through that redshirt freshman year, we beat Wake Forest. The following week, we beat Maryland. Then we played Tim Tebow, University of Florida in the Swamp.
You're listening to The Fly Guy Show. They do everything on the fly and in such a fly manner. Stay fly, stay fly, stay fly.
After all that party, the views expressed by the guests are only the views of the guests, unless we say we agree, unless explicitly stated.
Hey, this is Ernie Thomas here on the Vogue School Podcast. You're listening to Psycho Vonner's Fly Guy Podcast. Support, like, subscribe, and share. He's saying some good things. Share it. Don't keep it to yourself.
Good morning. I'm Earl Walton, and it is a pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker, Erik Rodriguez, EJ Manuel Jr. I have known EJ since he was a kid playing recreation sports in Virginia Beach. As a matter of fact, I was one of EJ's Little League coaches. EJ was a gifted athlete with great leadership skills. EJ attended Bayside High School in Virginia Beach, where he played for the Marlins football team. He graduated in 2008 and was recognized as a 200-plus scholar that year for his academic achievement. EJ attended Florida State University and was one of the most productive quarterbacks in school history. During his tenure at FSU, he led the Seminoles to the fourth most wins in program history, including notable victories in the 2013 Orange Bowl, 2012 ACC football championship game, and 2009 Gator Bowl. Following his career at FSU, EJ was a first-round draft pick by the Buffalo Bills in 2013. He started in 10 games during his rookie season, spent 5 seasons in the NFL playing for Buffalo, and a season for the Oakland Raiders. EJ joined ACC Network in 2019 and is now a studio analyst on The Huddle, ACCN's signature football show that airs Friday evenings and Saturday mornings throughout the fall. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to EJ Manuel Jr.
Good morning, fellas. I'd like to thank Mr. Tony Canyon for this opportunity, the chair of the 200-plus Men Scholar Breakfast. I'd like to thank Mr. Jim Gray, the president of the 200-plus Men Scholar Breakfast, Mr. Ron Brinkley, Coach Earl, thank you for the introduction. Coach Earl is actually my Little League coach for the Woodstock Nittany Lions, who won the city championship back in the day. He's been an intricate part in my life since I've really been 8 years old. So Coach Earl, appreciate you. Thank you for this opportunity as well. I want to thank my mom and my dad, Erik Manuel and Jackie Manuel, as well as my sister, Amber Manuel, and my 2 grandmothers, Eleanor Dudley and Pearl Ames, and Bill Dudley, my grandfathers, rest in peace. And last but not least, I'd like to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, for this platform and for this opportunity to speak to you guys this morning. Today, fellas, I just wanted to come and first off, congratulate you for being here, having this opportunity to be a part of this Scholar Breakfast. Can't remember what year ago. It might have been 2008 or 2007 when I was in the same chairs, same shoes as you guys as a young high school athlete, student athlete with a 3.0 and higher GPA. I attended Bayside High School, the Health Science Academy. And, I'm from this area. So for me to now come back, 13 years later, 14 years later, to have a chance to speak to you all, it means the world to me. So just bear with me. It'll be a good speech. Make sure I have some good stuff for you guys that'll hit home and will certainly set you up for your future. And the way I kind of put this speech together, I asked myself, what would I want to tell a 16, 17, and 18-year-old EJ back when I was at Bayside? And some of the things that I've learned, and I'm not old, I'm 31, but I definitely feel like I've learned enough in the past 13 years of life of what's to come for you guys as successful young men. And as I talk about success, that's what I wanted to speak on. The definition of success is actually the accomplishment of an aim or a purpose. Okay, so as you move through life, you're going to have moments where you say, I want to be this, I want to do that, I want to achieve this. And when you make that statement, you now put yourself in a position to have opposition, for people to say, you can't do this, you can't achieve that, you're too small, you're not smart enough, you don't fit the criteria for what we're looking for. And those are all things that we run into in life. And that's a part of life. You shouldn't shy away from that. And if you guys have already dealt with that, I'm sure you have, at some capacity in your life, just keep pushing forward. So that's what I want to talk about today. To me, the meaning of success is happiness. It's peace. It's financial freedom. It's areas of life where you're just, you're excited. I wake up every single day happy. And truly, it sounds cliche, but, I think for me growing up, and I'll get into this, my mission in life was to make other people around me better. So as a quarterback, I guess I should go back into my bio. So before I get into all of that, I grew up here in Virginia Beach, Woodstock area in College Park. I attended Woodstock Elementary School, and my parents, had both my parents in my life. So I was very fortunate and blessed to have that. But I think the biggest thing that my dad instilled in me as a young child was to never say I can't. And that's something that has stuck with me throughout my entire life. Understanding that, just because it might be hard to, do my homework, it might be hard to, have the courage to go up and talk to a girl. It might be hard to go out in front of 100,000 people and throw a touchdown. So I think as far as understanding that you can achieve, you can be this, you can be that, that instillment in my life as a young child certainly helped me. But growing up here in Virginia Beach, I'm very proud to be from the 757. It's something that I've always prided myself on, and even now in my current job with the ACC Network and ESPN, I always try to pump up the guys that are from this area. Two guys that stand in mind is Patrick Jones II, defensive end from University of Pittsburgh, just got drafted to the Minnesota Vikings. And Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, linebacker from Notre Dame, just got drafted in the second round to Cleveland Browns. Whenever I had an opportunity to speak up on those guys, I always try to, shout out to them and shout out to where we're from. Because I think this is a great area to be growing up. I think it's a great area to be an athlete. I think it's a great area to be a scholar. And just because, it may not be a big city like Miami or New York City or Los Angeles, there's some great people that come from this area too, and don't forget that. So as I moved on, middle school, I went to Kinsville Middle, worked hard, played football, played basketball, ran track, played baseball. I was always a great athlete, or always a great student. Throughout my life, it was very simple and very easy to me because I would come home, and if I didn't have my homework done, I couldn't go outside and play, or I couldn't go play video games. I couldn't play Madden or NBA 2K or whatever. And my dad and my mom made sure that I got my schoolwork done. So, as a middle school kid, it was very normal for me to come home and get those things done first. So what I want to point out to you guys is make sure your priorities are straight. Understand that, okay, if you set a goal or you want to achieve something, you got to look at all the steps in order to make that goal happen for yourself. Okay, and I understood that at a young age. When I was 13, I had the opportunity to go to Bayside High School, like I said, the Health Science Academy. It was a great opportunity because I wanted to be an engineer, actually a biomedical engineer, before I got to college, and I'll get to that part. But, for me, it was a great opportunity to go to a school that was a public school out of district. I lived in the Green Run school zone, but I was able to go to Bayside High School, play for my granddad, Bill Dudley. My head coach, Darnell Moore, was our head football coach. And I just knew those guys were going to cultivate me and help me become what I wanted to be. So there was another step in my process of achieving the goal, which was to be in the NFL. So Coach Moore, my granddad, Coach Dudley, the teachers that I had at Bayside, they instilled in me that I can mentality. They never said I can't. They never said I couldn't do something. But there was one point or one time that stood out in my mind. I had a science teacher, and I won't say her name. I came back from a junior camp at Duke University. It was my sophomore year going into my junior year, and Duke football had invited out, juniors throughout the country, or really in the Virginia, North Carolina, DC, Maryland areas, to come down for a weekend to compete in the camp. And I was a sophomore. All the guys I was competing with were juniors. So I already had the I can mentality in my mind. That's how I moved through my life, even as a kid. But my goal was to leave that camp and get a scholarship offer. I went to the camp. Coach Ted Roof, he was the head coach at the time. Coach Bill O'Brien, who is now the offensive coordinator for the Alabama Crimson Tide, longtime head coach for the Houston Texans. He was the offensive coordinator. And I went there, competed, and I was a tall kid. I wasn't necessarily the biggest guy. I was kind of skinny. I was probably like 6'3", 180 pounds, 185 pounds, but I had the confidence and I had the heart because I'm from this area. And so I went there, competed. I got my scholarship offer once we left on the spot, okay? The next day, we drove from Duke to Marshall University. Got another scholarship offer there. So those were my first two offers. So I come back to Bayside school, that Monday after that weekend, Saturday and Sunday, got my first two scholarship offers. Told some of my classmates, and it was on Rivals.com and internet, so guys knew, and my friends were really excited for me. And my teacher overheard what we were talking about, and she said, "Oh, EJ, you got a scholarship offer to Duke?" I was like, "Yes, ma'am. Yep, got it. It's a big deal, but I think I'm gonna keep working hard because I really want to go to like a bigger program. Duke football they're better now, but they weren't necessarily the Florida States or the Clemsons or the Alabamas like we see today." And so she said, "Well, you should go to Duke because look at you can't go to the NFL." And I looked at her and I just kind of looked at her like, "What do you mean?" And she was like, "Well, look at you. You're skinny. You can't make it. You can't make it to the NFL." And from that point on, fellas, it changed everything for me. I went home. I told my mom. I told my dad. And they obviously said, you can. I'm sure my parents wanted to go up and have some words with that teacher, but they didn't because they understood that I was mature enough to understand that I can. And I did. So going through high school, I was the I was a freshman quarterback for Bayside. Started all 4 years. I ended up being an All-American, top of my class, top 10 athlete or quarterback in the country. I think I was number 2 coming out in the 2008 recruiting class. I was a parade All-American, All-State, all Virginia Beach, all district, all whatever, as far as the accolades. And to me, fellas, that was in the moment what I thought meant was success, but that's not the case. And I'll get to that, later in the speech. So on paper, I was successful. I had the grades. I had my family behind me. I was doing my thing in football, basketball as well, track, whatever sport. I just, naturally, sports came very natural to me, and they still do. But I chose to go a different route, and now I work on TV. But from when I was 13, again, I was working out with Anthony Stringfield, my high school trainer. And he asked me one day in a hot summer day, I'll never forget, he has video of this. What are my goals? What college do I want to go to? And at 13 years old or 14, I said, I want to go to Florida State. And God's honest truth, 2 years later, I got a scholarship offer from Florida State. So I had the opportunity to choose between Florida State, LSU, North Carolina, Virginia Tech, UVA. I ended up having 51 scholarship offers coming out of Bayside High School, a school that a lot of people didn't know about. People say, "Oh, they don't have a good football program, this and that." But Coach Moore instilled in me and gave me that work ethic. And, Anthony Stringfield, so many people, my dad, my mom, so many people that always told me I could. I achieved that. And I went to the Elite 11. I was one of the top quarterbacks in the country, along with Andrew Luck, Mike Glennon, a bunch of other great players that have gone on to NFL careers. So I chose Florida State. I go down to Tallahassee, Florida as a freshman, 5-star recruit, and I'm expecting an opportunity to get a chance to play. But I got there, and Coach Jimbo Fisher sat me down and he said, "Hey, I want you to redshirt your freshman year." And so that was where I thought it was me taking a standstill in my achievement of succeeding. But in fact, it was probably the best thing for me. So that year, I was able to be the scout team quarterback. I helped Everett Brown, the guy who went second round to the Carolina Panthers, Tony Carter, Patrick Robinson, all these great players on defense get prepared for their last years at Florida State. Myron Rowe, one of my good friends. All those guys prepared. And they saw me put in the work. They saw me go to practice every single day to get better. And going into my redshirt freshman year, not just on the football field was I excelling. Now after that redshirt year of just kind of practicing, being a scout team quarterback, now having a true chance to compete for the opportunity to start at Florida State. I also made a change academically. So like I said, coming into Florida State, I wanted to be a biomedical engineer. And for most of you scholars that don't play a sport, you won't be like me in this instance, okay? So I went to Chemistry 1, 8 o'clock a.m. My freshman year. And there's a lot of work, a lot of labs, a lot of homework. And being a student athlete, I'm sure you guys that play ball can understand, I wanted to have a normal college life and not be up till 12 a.m. every morning doing homework. So I actually made a change that was probably the best thing for me into broadcasting. A guy named Terrell Buckley, you guys could YouTube him after this speech. He played in the NFL for a very long time, played at Florida State, standout cornerback, All-American, first-round pick, all that good stuff. He pulled me to the side one day. He said, hey, man, you ever thought about doing broadcasting and working on TV after football? So mind you, T-Buck kind of put it in my mind as a redshirt freshman that, okay, though football is there for me, he basically created another alleyway in my career. So I decided to change from biomedical engineering, and I became a major in broadcasting. So after that redshirt year, my redshirt freshman year came, I had another pitfall, an injury. That happens in football. As you athletes at home understand and know, that's going to happen in your career. You're going to have things that cause you to have to take a pause. And even the ones that don't play sports, there might be things that happen in your life. A family illness, you getting sick yourself, a breakup with your girlfriend, something that you think is traumatic in that moment. It ends up being the best thing for you. Just understand that God will kind of direct all your steps and just know that everything's going to be along his plan for you. So I had to go out there my redshirt freshman year. I was still a backup to Christian Ponder. I actually had a chance to play in the last 4 games of the season. And for those of you who know Bobby Bowden, one of the most decorated college football coaches of all time, set me down. I'll never forget it. He said, son, we got to win the last 3 or 4 games in order to go to a bowl game this year. And so you could imagine as an 18, 19-year-old freshman, really my first opportunity to start, the pressure was there, but I was ready because I knew that I could. I didn't have a I can't mentality in my mind. So my first start was against Wake Forest University. Went out there and I lit it up. I don't remember my exact stats, but we won the game. No interceptions, 2 or 3 touchdown passes. Jimbo called a great game for me to have confidence to go out there and do my job. And all the while, guys, I was still a great student at, first. I was getting a 3.4 GPA in college. I was handling all my business. I was showing up to study hall and tutoring, whatever I needed to do to make sure that if I wanted to go to NFL, I couldn't just be good on the football field. I had to be great in the classroom as well. And also, just keep it real, I'm a black quarterback. And I understood that at the end of the day, they're going to look at me differently than they look at my counterparts. They're going to look at me and say, oh, well, he can't process, he can't think, he can't be smart. That's incorrect. I can, and I was, and I have been. So going through that redshirt freshman year, we beat Wake Forest. The following week, we beat Maryland. Then we played Tim Tebow, University of Florida in the Swamp. 96,000 people live and in attendance. And it actually reminds me of that old video game Space Jam where your guy would go out for a dunk and all the cameras, the lights from the cameras would start flashing. So it's a pretty surreal moment, but I handled my business. Joe Hayden was on that defense, Carlos Dunlap, a bunch of great players, and I still played well. Didn't win the game, but I played well. And so coming back to that bowl game that we were able to achieve, I helped lead my team to it. We went to a bowl game. This was Bobby Bowden's last game of his career. Now, Coach Bowden was like 70-something years old at the time. And again, you talk about the pressure of having to go out there and put on for your team. Christian Ponder was hurt, so it was my job to go and lead. And I was ready. We played West Virginia. The game started out okay. And then in the third and the fourth quarter, I turned it on. Threw touchdowns, ran touchdowns, ended up earning the MVP of that game as a freshman in the Gator Bowl. And again, we beat Geno Smith was the quarterback of that team. So it was kind of a battle between EJ Manuel and Geno. At the time, we were both young freshmen. And that's when I really knew, man, that this was my purpose. This was my walk, okay? Now, I was also kind of aligning success with athletic success or achievements, championships, rings, notoriety, everything that came with being an athlete. But that's not what success is, and I'll get to that point. I just want to make that clear. I thought that was what success meant, okay? So my junior year, or my sophomore year, my junior year, I played well. I had a 26-5 career record at Florida State. Smashed a bunch of other records as far as throwing the ball, completion percentage, things like that. I would be considered probably a legend at Florida State. I feel like I have the respect from the crowd or, the fanfare there, the coaches, obviously. I was able to kind of pass the torch on to Jameis Winston, who came out and had a Heisman year his freshman year, and they won the national championship. And actually, I was able to help bring my team to an ACC championship, Orange Bowl championships, things like that. So again, that's what I aligned success with for myself. Now, leaving college, I went to the NFL draft. I went to the Senior Bowl before that, got MVP of that, played well. Draft came around April of 2013, and I got selected just on a podium just like this. Well, similar, a little bigger in New York, but I got selected 16th overall to the Buffalo Bills. First round, it was something that changed my life, still to this day. A huge moment. And again, I think what I had to learn, okay, I'm successful. I'm a first rounder. I'm overnight multi-millionaire. I can go buy my parents a house, buy cars, all these cool things. But that's not what success is, guys. And I'll get to that point again. I keep bringing that up. I go through my NFL career. I'm starting as a rookie. I earn the job, get my rookie year, but I have another injury. I tore my left meniscus in the preseason up until my rookie season. And so I had to go get surgery just like that. 2.5 weeks later, I rehabbed, I battled back, was back for game 1 versus Tom Brady. Almost beat Tom Brady. The only reason we didn't win is because of a third down drop by one of my receivers. And then when Tom got the ball back, drove him down, kicked the field goal to win it. So in my mind, guys, I'm successful. I'm playing in the NFL. I have financial freedom. My family's straight. I'm straight. I'm healthy. I'm balling. I'm doing my thing in the NFL. My rookie year came and went well, started the whole season, had a few games that I missed because of knee injuries. My second year comes up, and this is where things changed for me, understanding what success was. So the first 2 games, we beat the Miami Dolphins. We beat somebody else, I think it's Carolina Panthers or somebody. And then the third game, we lose to San Diego Chargers, and we lose to Houston Texans on the road. Okay, so after that Houston game, I was upset. I had a mishap that JJ Watt made a great play, took it back to the house for a touchdown, and it really hurt my confidence, but I wish I had somebody to come and say, look, man, in the midst of a storm, you're fine. You're fine. Remember that, guys, in the midst of a storm. So whether you throw a pick 6 or whether you get a failing grade or whether you don't get into the college that you wanted to get into, understand that you're fine because it's all a part of the plan that God has for your life. So in that moment, I couldn't understand it because I was young and I was in it. And I didn't realize that was what was raising me to be a better man, a better son to my dad and my mom, a better brother to my sister, a better teammate to my teammates that I was playing with, to stand up and keep my chest out and my head up and understand that I was still successful no matter what happened, whether you win or you lose. Remember that in life, whether you win or lose, you're still a success because you determine what success is. So going through that, I was basically benched for another quarterback, Kyle Orton. He came in and played. And I had to learn then that everybody in life doesn't really have the best interest for you. And so along your path of trying to achieve success, understand that there are going to be times where it's just truly unfair. There's going to be times where people make decisions and it has literally nothing to do with you, but everything to do with them. And especially when you're in a business like playing in the NFL, if you're in the business of working at a big time corporation, you're going to have a boss that might make a decision and you might think it's something that you did wrong or something that you can't do. And I said can't, but that's not the truth. You can. Remember that you can. And just understand that just because they make that decision, it doesn't determine who you are or your level of success. So I move on throughout my football career, play my first 4 years in Buffalo, play my last 2 years in Oakland with the Oakland Raiders. And then I had an opportunity to do an interview for ESPN and ACC Network. Now in college, I got my degree in broadcasting, pretty much doing what I'm doing right now. And I wanted to create 2 opportunities for myself. So I want to bring that up too. Have opportunities and create opportunities in your life, guys. Don't just put all your eggs in one basket. That was, thank God, a mistake I almost made because I put everything into my football basket. But like I said, while I was achieving on the football field, I was still achieving in the classroom. I was making sure my grades were good. I was making sure my homework was done. I was making sure I had good relationships and rapport with my teachers and my professors in college and in high school. Even that high school teacher that said I couldn't make it, I was still very respectful to her. I never came down on her. I never badmouthed her or anything like that because you don't want to burn a bridge and you never know who's watching you or who will be the person that they might be working for you at one point, but then later in life, they might be hiring you for a job. And so I bring that up because my producer now with ESPN was somebody I met when I first got drafted into the NFL. He actually was the one that gave me my hat because it was a production by ESPN. And he remembered me being so nice and gracious and just being humble. And I met him again, fast forward 7 years later. And I had the opportunity to either continue my football career because I got signed by the Kansas City Chiefs in February of 2019, or take this job with ESPN and start my new career on TV. So I went with the Chiefs. And actually I was able, and this is another thing, you can leverage opportunities too. And what that means is you can use one opportunity to gain in that second opportunity. And that's exactly what I did. So when ESPN offered me the initial offer, and we're talking money, and I like to keep it real, guys. It wasn't what I wanted, okay? But I said, all right, well, I'm gonna continue to play football since I had that opportunity and I was signed to a team. So a month goes by, I'm working out with the team, with Patrick Mahomes and all these guys battling for that backup job behind Pat. And ESPN calls back and they make a really, really good offer that I was, happy with and more than willing to leave my NFL career to start this TV journey. And so I had to go sit in front of Coach Andy Reid, just like this, face to face, and tell him, hey, Coach, I'm gonna go, work in TV. I'm gonna go work for ESPN. And he was shocked because I was still playing, I was still young, I was still in good shape. And he knew I could get the job done on the football field, but he respected me more because I came to him and looked him in the eye as a man. And also I created 2 opportunities for myself. A lot of times guys that play professional sports is all they know and all we know. But I knew I could do something else. And so I decided to, walk away from football and now work as an ESPN and ACC Network college football analyst. And I love my job, I love what I do. So guys, to me, that's why I say success doesn't have to be winning championships, doesn't have to be driving nice cars, doesn't have to be being the cool guy all the time. Success is peace. Success is a good name, something that you can't buy that back. If you have a bad name on the streets, guys, that's not a good thing. If people don't respect you, if you lie, you say one thing and you do another, no one's going to respect you. So make sure you keep your name clean. Make sure people respect you in the aspects of your hard work, your dedication. If you're asked to show up somewhere, show up 15 minutes early. There's nothing wrong with showing up 15 minutes early, being ready to go, have your shirt and your tie. People are always going to remember you for that. You make an impact that way without even having to say anything or speak out and shake their hand. They'll just look at you and say, okay, this guy means business. So guys, I tell you my story just to say, you're going to have pitfalls. You're going to have people that say you can't do it. You're going to have moments that make you think you can't do it, but you can. So persevere, work hard. And again, I'm a part of this brotherhood of the 200 plus men Scholar Breakfast. I was, like I said, in your same shoes 10, 13 years ago. And I look forward to all you men to continue your good work in the community. And I'm sure in some days in 10, 15 years, we'll be coming to hear you guys speak. So God bless you and have a great day. Appreciate it.
EJ, thank you very much for that uplifting and motivational message. As a product of the Hampton Roads community and a former 200 plus scholar, we're proud of your success in business and life. You are indeed an excellent example for these students. Thank you for taking the time to speak to us today.
Stay fly, 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 stay fly.
The views expressed by the guests are only the views of the guests, unless we say we agree. Unless explicitly stated.
Stay fly, stay fly, stay fly, stay fly, stay fly, stay fly.
Stay conscious. Stay fly.